Hello, everyone. My name is Will Kramer, and I'm serving as the chair of the Student Organization Finance Committee for the 2025-2026 school year. Today, I will be taking you through SOFC's finance training. In order to qualify for funding, every authorized spender must watch this video in full, review the SOFC policy document, and complete the short quiz. This helps to ensure all student organizations are well informed and prepared for a successful year. Let's begin. Today, we will be going over important definitions, the difference between SOFC and SOP finance, guidelines and procedures, the programming fund versus the operational and capital fund, how to apply for funding, the hearing timeline, and much more. SOFC stands for Student Organization Finance Committee, and we are an independent branch of Duke student government in charge of allocating nearly $1 million each year to hundreds of student organizations, with the goal of supporting the Duke undergraduate community. Our budget is sourced directly from the student activities fee, which is included in every student's tuition. OCF stands for the Operational and Capital Fund, which was created to assist student organizations with any expenses that are critical to the viability of their group. There are 3 different membership options for undergraduate student organizations. The first is open membership. Groups that have open membership cannot charge dues and cannot be selective in membership. These groups can apply to both the SOFC Programming Fund and the SOFC Operational and Capital Fund. The second type of membership is selective membership. Groups that are selective in membership may charge dues, and they can only apply to the SOFC Programming Fund. The third type of membership is competition membership. Competitive groups may be selective in membership, and they can apply to both the SOFC Programming Fund and the SOFC Operational and Capital Fund. You can check your group's membership status on Duke Groups. Next, we will go over the difference between SOFC and SOP finance. SOFC is an available funding source that is open to all undergraduate student organizations. SOP finance processes payment requests for student affairs managed RSOs, or recognized student organizations. SOP finance handles all checks, contracts, and transactions. SOFC is your first step in the funding process. Knowing the difference between SOFC and SOP finance will make this process smoother and easier. Next, let's discuss the differences between the Programming Fund and the Operational and Capital Fund. The Programming Fund has weekly hearings and supports undergraduate student organization events such as on-campus conferences and guest speakers, performances and space rentals, catering, and much more. This fund is open to groups with open membership, selective membership, and competition membership. These events must be accessible, open, advertised, and free to all Duke undergraduates. Failure to meet these requirements will result in no funding. The Operational and Capital Fund has hearings once per semester, and this fund supports the acquiring, upgrading, and maintaining of physical assets such as tables, speakers, and storage. This fund also aids in developing and providing non-consumables to groups, such as group retreats, competition fees, and costumes. This fund is available to open membership and competition membership undergraduate groups. Events funded through the OCF may be closed to only group members. To responsibly apply for funding, it is essential to go over SOFC's guidelines and procedures. This document can be found on the SOFC website and is linked in this module. This document is consistently updated, especially over the summer, to reflect feedback we have received both internally and externally. Every officer, especially the treasurer, should familiarize themselves with the manual and keep a copy open while submitting a funding request. This will help you know what we do and don't fund and general rules. This page will help you better understand how to apply for funding by submitting a budget request form through Duke Groups. First, log into Duke Groups and navigate to the group icon on the top of the web page and look up your group in the search bar. Then, once you are on the home page of your group, click on the budget icon and navigate to the drop-down menu in the top left-hand corner and select your desired application. Then, click on the budget request icon and select the correct funding application in the budget request type drop-down menu. Fill out the application in as much detail as possible. Read all the questions and answer in full. Here are some tips for better understanding the budget request form. Have the SOFC guidelines and procedures open while you fill in the form to refer to our fundable and unfundable items and general rules. If you cannot find the answer to your question on our website, please do not hesitate to email us at sofc@duke.edu. This year, we've added a new tool to help student organizations better understand SOFC policies and approved request amounts. Going forward, each request to the Programming Fund or Operational and Capital Fund will require a completed budget tool template. To find the template, first navigate to the SOFC Budget Tool tab on our website and access the template using the hyperlink. This link will take you to Box, where you can download the Excel file using the arrow button on the top right of the page. Once downloaded, fill in your student organization, your name, and your email on the top of the sheet. Then, making sure to edit only columns C and D on the left-hand side of the template, fill in the line items your student organization is requesting. The total amount your student organization is requesting for your event will populate in cell D32. This number should match the total amount requested in your Duke Group's application. Following your hearing, your student organization will receive the completed budget tool template with a breakdown of what line items have been approved and at what amount. This will help ensure your student organization knows what to allocate funding towards and will help remove any confusion when SOFC reviews the self-auditing form for your event. The budget tool has a color-coded mechanism built in that will highlight cell G34 green when your budget request follows the important budget rules laid out on the right-hand side of the template. Once all information is filled out and cell G34 is green, attach the Excel file to your application using the naming convention detailed on this page. Now, the hearing timeline that you and your student organization should follow. At least 3 to 4 weeks prior to the event, your group is planning your event and your group is submitting your funding request. At least 3 weeks prior to the event, your group is attending the Programming and/or Operational and Capital Fund hearing. Following the hearing, your group will receive a decision on Duke Groups. To review how much you were allocated and which items were approved, navigate back to the originally submitted form. After the hearing, money will be transferred into your group's account by SOP Finance. It is extremely important to plan ahead in order to avoid paying for an event out of pocket in the case that you are not able to secure SOFC funding. Any requests submitted less than 21 days in advance of the event date will not be considered for funding by the committee. So you received funding. Now what? First, it is important that your student organization does not spend money before securing funding from SOFC, other sources, or a combination of funding sources. This will result in your student organization's account going into overdraft, and you will not be able to apply for funding until that amount is paid back. Once you have secured funding from SOFC and completed SOP Finance's finance training, you can utilize the payment request portal on the homepage of Duke Groups to set up a payment meeting with a member of SOP Finance and purchase your requested items. SOFC strives to support every event, and we carefully review each request. We have maximum allocation amounts, but that does not mean your group will receive that maximum amount. Often, we must subsidize an event rather than providing the total cost to ensure equitable funding access for all student organizations. Again, planning ahead is vital so that you have time to secure alternative funding sources if necessary. Within 48 hours of your event's conclusion, you must complete the self-auditing form via Duke Groups. This form will allow you to submit your receipts, attendance tracking if expected attendance was 100 undergraduates or more, and leave any comments on your event. Failure to complete this form will result in our inability to review any future funding requests submitted by your group. Additionally, it is important that money allocated for a specific item is used to purchase that item. For example, if you were allocated $50 for catering, you must spend that $50 on catering. Additionally, if there is a remaining balance greater than $5 left over from your request, you must send that balance back to SOFC using the payment request portal on Duke Groups, and I will walk through that process in just a moment. For events with an expected undergraduate attendance of 100 or more, you are required to track attendance at the event using a QR code. To do this, first log into Duke Groups and navigate to My Events on the left-hand side. Click the Manage button and select the box labeled Self-Check-In QR Code. Make sure to check the Activate box and then present the QR code to your event attendees. The total attendance must be uploaded to the self-auditing form associated with the event. As I mentioned previously, if an SOFC-funded request has a remaining unused balance of $5 or more, that balance must be sent back to SOFC using the payment request portal on Duke Groups. To do so, first navigate to the Duke Groups homepage and select the payment request portal. On the first page of the form, be sure to include your organization's fund code. On the second page, when asked to choose your payment method, select Transfer. And on the third page, select either SOFC Programming or SOFC OCF when asked to whom are you transferring funds. Be sure to complete the rest of the form with as much detail as possible. Let's go over what SOFC doesn't do and what SOFC doesn't fund. We do not handle payments, contracts, checks, or reimbursements. SOP Finance is responsible for all of those processes. We also do not retroactively fund, meaning we do not allocate funding after a group has already purchased items and/or held an event. SOFC does not fund any item on the Student Affairs Restricted Purchases list. SOFC does not fund marketing costs, event-specific decor, giveaways, or merchandise. SOFC works with multiple offices to ensure the student organization funding process is efficient and straightforward. Although SOFC has our own policies, we work in partnership with student involvement and leadership, meaning we function in accordance with their policies. Becoming familiar with their group re-registration process, Next Level Leadership Summit, and other policies ensures that you are being a diligent student organization leader. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us via email. Much of our information can also be found on our Instagram or our website. Please do read over the policy document before you complete the short quiz that follows this video.